Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another week of question and answers from our interim meetings from last Sunday. And what we took was the Integration Center. And what you would know that as today is actually our prison systems here in all across Canada, the de facto government of Canada, country that's not a country. Anyways, we decided to rename them integration centers. So it's more of like a rehabilitation place for any violators of natural sovereign law. And we read through it all and discussed it all, and we had some questions which I'm going to address today. And so I'd like to welcome you all. And if you have any comments, please put it in the chat for me. I will try and look at it and answer all your questions if you have any. And so we'll get started. All right. Okay. First off, what is an integration system? Well, an integration system is what we know as today, a prison system, all right? Whereas if you had someone who violated the law in any way, shape, or form, they would be then sent to prison. That would be their sentence, would be to sit in prison for so long. Well, in the integration center, this will be kind of the same way, except the violators would have violated natural sovereign law. And the jury, the grand jury, would make that decision. Today, a judge makes that decision. But in our system, in natural sovereign law system, the grand jury would make that verdict and give the sentence. All right. So that's what an integration center is. All right. The second question I had was, what do the admins do there? Well, the admins do quite a few things. Okay, there are different sections in the integration system, in the integration center. All right, they would have like one part of the system would look after the managing of it. All right, they would manage all the violators. They'd manage all of their staff. They would manage the integration peace officers. They would manage the sergeants, and those are the other two main positions in an integration system. All right. They would also look after the operations of the whole system itself. And it would be, I guess they would run it kind of like a business in a way. All right. They are fully accountable to the sovereigns of that region, wherever this integration center is located. They'd be fully transparent of everything they do. There would be also a financial division, and they would look after all of the financial parts, the budgeting, and making sure everything is running smoothly. They would send forth their budget to their regional administrators, and that is where the budget would come from them. They'd set their budget up, send it to the regional administrators, and then the regional administrators would send it to the nation administrators, and then they would give that all to the Treasury Fund, and the Treasury Fund would then disperse whatever they would need for their funding. Okay, so they would have a budgeting financial division within that system, like in the center itself. All right, they would also look after the operations of it. So, for instance, the running of it, just the day-to-day duties of it, basically to make sure everything is running smoothly, right? But that would mean new violators coming in, other violators being released, looking after all of the other violators, making sure that they are healthy, that they are in programs. That would be the operations, and making sure that, of course, all of the peace officers, the integration peace officers that would be working there are fully trained and looked after and safe, and that all of the administration staff is safe, and also the sergeant. The sergeants look after mainly all of the armed gear, the firearms, and everything within that integration system. All right, they all kind of work together. All right, they would also look after if there was any type of renovations that needed to be done to the integration center. That would be included in their budgeting also. So their budgeting division, the financial division, would also look after the renovating of it. If they needed to add on, if they needed to improve on the fencing, if they needed to improve on the cells that the violators live in. All right. All of that, or if they had to improve on the kitchen in there, anything like that, they would look after. There'd be a division within the integration centers that would have that also. So you have a financial division, you have a renovating division, you also have the full management division, and then you also have what we call a programming re-entry programming division. And these administrators would look after all of the programs to rehabilitate the violators, to teach them about natural sovereign law, to teach them about the Constitution, how to uphold the Constitution, how we are to respect all living systems, that we are all accountable for ourselves and like our actions. We are accountable for our actions. We are accountable for our words. We're accountable for everything around us. That is natural sovereign law. So within these programs, this would be all directed to the violators within their programs. Okay, so it's kind of the rehabilitation. We go through them with their, if they're having a psychological problems, we would have that looked after. If they're having physical problems, we would have our natural health practitioners come in to look at them. So there are different things that we will do within the system there, within the center, I should say, within that center. And this will take part in every integration center within the Republic. All right. So yes, everybody would have a little bit of a say in it. Whatever they decide, all right, with it for that center would be to benefit the violators. We want them rehabilitated so that they are able to go back into society, into our communities, and get back into working alongside others, to live alongside others, and not have it so that they were in jail being held over their head for the rest of their lives. Okay, they do not become non-sovereigns when they enter into a integration center. No, they're still sovereign. All right, but what happens is some of their freedoms are taken away. That's all. All right, until they make remedy for what they have done wrong. It's all about giving remedy for what you have done wrong. It's to make up for that. That is what the integration centers are all about. All right. So the next question I had was, who do the administrations answer to? Well, they answer to us, the sovereigns. All right. So they everything is fully transparent. So every year, annually, they would be audited. And also this would be then made known to all of the sovereigns within that region where that integration center is located. And every integration center within the Republic would be doing this. Once a year, all of this would be then given to the sovereigns to see what the budget is, how things were maintained, if they had to do any renovations, if they had to increase in their budgets in certain areas, how the program is doing and how the violators benefited from it. That would all be in that report at the end of the year. So be done once a year and annually, right? Every year. Okay. So they would answer to us. All right. They would answer to the sovereigns. They also, if anything should happen within the integration center, they are answerable then to the region, the regional administrators, and also the sovereigns of that region. All right. And also to the sheriff and the adjudicator, because the adjudicator is in charge of our courts. So yes, they would be answerable to that if anything should happen within the integration center and they would have to go back to court. That's what they would have to answer then to the adjudicators and also to the sheriff. All right. So the next question I had was, who do they work with? Who do the administration work with? Well, they work with each other. It's like I said, it's all the big divisions. They work with the integration peace officers. They work with the sergeants, the integration sergeants of the center, and they work with also the natural health practitioners that come in because of health reasons. They work the sheriff and the adjudicator if there's any kind of unlawful behavior or if there is a court case that they have to come and get a violator to bring to the courthouse. So they would work with the adjudicator and the sheriff, all right? They also would work with any type of advisors, natural sovereign law advisors. There will be advisors. These are not lawyers. These are advisors, and they advise the violator on natural sovereign law, all right? So yes, they would have the advisors they'd have to work hand in hand with, and also the clergy. Like we have the right to have our own spiritual beliefs, and so yes, you could have a clergy come in, a priest, a minister, whatever you would like, whatever your belief is. Yes, the administrators would have to work with any one of these clergymen. Okay, that's who they work with. All right. So the next question I had was, what responsibilities do they have? Well, the responsibilities, I think I've mentioned them mostly, and that is the full management of the place. All right. They also have, they're in charge of operations of the place, of the center itself, okay, making sure everything runs smoothly. They also would be in charge of any type of renovations that need to be done. That would be part of the administration. And also the programs for rehabilitation or for re-entry into society, into our communities. That is also what the administrators would do. Okay. Also, I forgot one thing, and that is maintenance. There will also be a maintenance department within the administration, and that maintenance would look after all of the whole center, making sure that it's clean, looked after, and kept up to date. All right, so that's what they would do. All right. So the next question I had was, do you need training to work there? Well, yes, you would have to have some training. Depends what position you would go into. For instance, if you wanted to be in the financial budgeting division, you would definitely would have to have some finance background, or some type of bookkeeping, or some type of uh, computer skills, management skills. That is what you would need. If you wanted to work in the Department of Programs, where they had the programs for rehabilitation, well, then I would suggest you would have some background in that, in developing programs for rehabilitation, for reentry. And also, you would have to have a little bit of psychological training, like so that you would be, psychiatry or any type of mental issues. You would have to really know how to deal with that, because you'd be working with violators in these programs to rehabilitate them. So you have to have some kind of training in that area. All right. Also, if you were just upfront doing data entry, or if you were doing secretarial work, answering phones, doing anything that's upfront, ordering supplies for the center, that's okay. As long as you have any type of skills like that, that's great. You don't have to have a whole lot of training for that, but you do need to know a little bit about secretarial work, and maybe a little bit of management skills would be good too, because it's good to have any type of one of these skills to work as an administrator. But there will be many divisions you can work in within the center. All right. So, and any training that you need and require, you'll be able to take at our learning technical centers. All right. We'll be setting up these learning technical centers, and you'll be able to go in and take whatever you need. All right. All right. And anything else that you get that you want to expand on or grow or move up into more of a more further management position, yeah, there'll be training for that too. All right. So the next question I had was, what positions are there? Well, I think I've mentioned most of them. There's several positions. You have the top administrators that look after the whole running of the center. Then you would have your financial division, which will be your budgeting and all of that. Then you would have your program division, which does all the rehabilitation and the reentry programs. And then you would have also your secretarial divisions, where your the lower administration levels, where you look after the record keeping, answering phones, filing, any type of typing, that type of thing. All right. And then you would also have your maintenance divisions, and that looks after all of the cleaning of the place and the upkeep of the place. Then you would also have a renovating division, where if you needed to add on, or if you needed to build new cells, or if you needed to build a new kitchen, that would be another division. Or you could also have the operations of it. That could be another division. So within the full administration, you would have several divisions that you would be able to work in. So yeah, you could have a good variety of people within those positions. All right. So the next question I had, are there going to be programs for reentry into the community? Yes, that is what we call the program division. And we will be setting up several programs to help reentry into society, into the communities. All right. And these will be developed and along the way as we go, because we'll be also educating and instructing on natural sovereign law. So everybody will need to know a little bit about that. So that's why we would probably bring in maybe advisors into a program, or bring the adjudicator in to give a presentation, or the sheriff to come in and give a presentation, or anybody that we know that has knowledge of natural sovereign law, and would be able to bring in a program to help educate the violators so that they do not cause harm to another sovereign again. This is what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent that they stop harming any other living system, especially the sovereigns around them that they need to live beside. All right, and to teach them that the Constitution is a good guideline to follow, and it will protect our unalienable rights. So this will be part of the programming, I should say programming, a part of the rehabilitation within these programs. All right. So that's exactly how it will go. Like it's going to be developed as we go. We'll see what works, see what doesn't. So yes, it's going to be very experimental, and we'll see what happens. And as sovereigns learn more about what natural sovereign law is all about, being held accountable for your actions, being held accountable for your speech. That is very important, and it's something that's probably going to take a little while to educate and instruct others on. But it will come about. It will. All right. So on to the next question I have. Will the violators see family and friends? Well, of course, there will be visitations. All right. Now, it all depends. In a maximum security, all right, you will visit through a glass and a phone, just like you saw and see on TV and all these movies. Yes, you basically talk through a phone. All right. There won't be any actual physical visitations in the maximums, but in the lower security centers, then you'll have physical visitations from your family and friends. All right, and just be prepared when you come in to visit someone in the center. You will be searched. All right, and you make sure that you don't bring anything in that's contraband. All right, because you will be searched. All right. The next thing is, I had a question here, will there be conjugal visits? Not in these centers, all right? Sorry, there will be no conjugal visits at all, all right? If you have a physical visit, it will be just with family and friends, all right? Just with family and friends. And that's all it will be, okay? You will sit there and visit. There's a time limit to it. And you'll have to just be patient, all right? And wait until the violator sentence is completed and the remedy has been done. All right, so that is how it's going to work. But no, we're not going to have any conjugal visits in our maximum or less security integration centers. All right, okay. The next question I had was, where are these centers located? Well, I do have a list. So I'm going to just basically read it off to you what it is, okay, where they are located. And this is in the Republic of Alberta, all right? We have one in Calgary. It's a remand center. We have a full security one also in Calgary. Edmonton, we have a remand center. Fort Saskatchewan is a maximum security. Lethbridge also has a high security integration center. Medicine Hat has a remand center. Peace River has a high security integration center. And Red Deer has a remand center. Calgary also has a remand center. So yeah, we have several located all over the place, all right, within the Republic of Alberta. So wherever you are in your republic, you'll find out where your maximum security prisons are, and we will rename them integration centers. And also the remand centers will also be called integration centers, which we're naming them all the same. Okay, so you would have a maximum integration center, and then you have a minimum integration centers, and that would be your remand centers. Okay. All right. The next question I have is, are they still sovereign if they enter into an integration center? Yes, they are still sovereign. All right. You don't stop being sovereign because you violated natural sovereign law. You're still sovereign. You retain that sovereignty. What happens is you will lose some of your freedoms. And that's why you enter into an integration center, is because you have violated the natural sovereign law and have harmed another sovereign so much that we need to take away your freedom of walking around, all right, of having a place with your family and friends. That would be taken away, but that is all up to the grand jury. They decide on your sentence and your remedy, okay? It's very important, all right? So, and the next question I had was, will all staff need firearms training and self-defense? Yes, most of your staff, all right. The secretarials and the lower administrations, no, they don't need to. But the higher administrators, the ones in charge of everybody, yes, you will need to have firearms training and self-defense. And you can take this training in our technical learning centers. That's where our firearms training, and also in our learning centers, the one where we will be naming after our schools. Yes, we are going to have firearms training and self-defense in both centers. So you do have a choice. All right. You can either go to the school, which will be called a learning center, or you can go to a higher one with just adults, and that's the technical learning center. But we will be having both programs there, both firearms safety and educating, and also self-defense. So yes, you will need to, if you are becoming an integration peace officer or an integration sergeant, you will definitely need to have firearms training and self-defense. All right, very much so. It's very important. And if you are in higher up management, okay. But if you are just doing the budget, or if you're doing the secretarial work, or if you're doing renovating or some of the operations of it, you may not need to have it. All right. We always would recommend that you get as much as you can, just in case something happens that you need to protect yourself. All right. If you are doing the programs division where with rehabilitation programs, you definitely would need to have some self-defense. And I would recommend taking some firearm safety courses too. All right. Just to protect yourself, because you'll be working one-on-one with the violators. And if anything should happen, we would like you to be prepared. All right. So it's very important that way. Okay. So the next question I had was, if someone is killed in a riot inside a integration center, what happens? Okay. This is what would happen. All right. For instance, if we had two violators having a disagreement, and one, say, stabs the other, all right, and kills that other violator, all right. Now, right away, the sergeant and the integration peace officers would right away take this violator and isolate him from the rest of the violators within the integration system. Okay. The sheriff would be notified. The adjudicator would be notified that this is what has happened. So this violator is going to go to court. And now the violator that died, his family deserves remedy because of what has happened. He was there to serve a sentence and he was supposed to come home. Well, he didn't come home. He died there. So this will all go to court. And the violator that passed away, his family can go to court, and the jury will then give remedy to the family. All right. So yes, they will all go to court, and this will all take place again in a courthouse, and the adjudicator and the sheriff, all right, would call in witnesses from the integration center. And that would probably be our integration peace officers, our integration sergeants, maybe even some of the staff would be called in as witnesses to this. Maybe even other violators would be called in as witnesses. So it's very important that we have this all sorted out. The remedy would go to the family members. All right. So it's the family members of that passed away violator, that killed violator. So that is how that would work. All right. And then the grand jury would come down with a sentence and a remedy. So again, what would happen there is the sheriff would be in charge of making sure that remedy is carried out to the family members. All right. So it all goes hand in hand. And the grand jury do take into consideration the family's concerns of what happened there. Okay. So the next question I had was, do the administrators use solitary confinement? Yes, they will in very severe cases. Like, for instance, if a violator is really acting out and causing a lot of harm or starting a lot of fights or not getting along with the rest of the violators within the center, then of course they would have to then isolate this violator and, yes, put him in solitary confinement just to bring him around. And during that time, our department of our division within the center that is building up all these programs for rehabilitation and reentry into society, they would work with this violator one-on-one to try and bring him around, have him understand, or she understand, what natural sovereign law is about and how we are to respect other living systems, everyone around us. We are accountable for our actions, and we are accountable for what we do and say. So this will be kind of an educating time for this violator. Even though they're in isolation and they're in confinement, they will still be worked with. They're not left there alone for days. No, that does not help anybody. What we are trying to do is rehabilitate and re-enter them into community. That's what the whole purpose of an integration center is all about. All right. We don't want you there forever. We want you there to rehabilitate, change your ways, recognize what natural sovereign law is all about, and then come back into society and live among us. So you won't be stigmatized that just because you violated it. All right. That won't happen. It will. I'm hoping that the community, once they learn what natural sovereign law is all about, the acceptance and the forgiveness will be there. All right. You served your time. You've made the remedy. Now we welcome you back. That is what all these programs that we will be developing within these centers are going to do. All right. So next question I had was, who do the administrators work with? Well, I think I've answered that one. They work with all of the staff members, of course. They all work together. There's several divisions within the administration. I named them all off. Also, they work with the integration peace officers every day, and they work with the integration sergeants every day. Outside of the center, they work with the sheriff, the adjudicator, all right? And, well, the adjudicator is mainly for the court cases, anything to do with the cases, okay? The sheriff is the one that transports and is in charge of transporting back and forth from the courts, or if there's any type of investigation on a case, that's the sheriff. They would contact the sheriff. They'd also be in contact with natural health practitioners. Those will be our doctors, okay? Anyone who needs any medical care or needs treatment, they will then call in the natural health practitioners, and they would work hand in hand together. They also work outside with what we call food companies, because they need to bring in food and supplies, right? So they'd be working with these companies that bring in their meals, delivery of groceries, delivery of any type of supplies, okay, whether it be for the kitchen, for the cellmates, for supplies and paper, whatever. So they will be working with other companies, all right? So the administrators do work with outside that. They also work with the natural sovereign law advisors. Now, these are not lawyers. These are advisors. They are trained in natural sovereign law to give advice to other sovereigns, to instruct them on exactly what is natural sovereign law and how they can actually prevent themselves from violating it. That's what it is. It's all about educating and instructing. They also work with clergy. And that is going to be, it's our unalienable right to have any type of spiritual belief we want. All right. So if they request to see any type of clergyman, a priest, a minister of whatever belief they have, yes, they'll be, the administrators would contact them and they would come into the center. And yes, it would be like a visit. All right. That's how it would be, I guess, handled that way. All right, a one-on-one with that violator if it's a request. So yes, they would work with all types of clergy outside of the center. All right. So the other question I had was, what do the administrators do? Well, I think I pretty well mentioned most of them. And they maintain the integration center. They maintain the operations of the integration center. They look after any renovating of the integration center. They look after any operations of it, any maintenance of it. That's what they do. Any type of management, they look after that. They also look after all of the programs for reintegration and also for any type of remedy that needs to be made, I guess. If one of the violators needs to be making remedy, and or for instance, the grand jury decided that one of the violators needs to make a payment of some sort, that they would have to work with the family or the injured party to make sure that all of this would be taken care of. Most of that would go through the sheriff and the adjudicator and the court administrators. So the remedy looks at the court administrators will do most of that, but sometimes they may have to deal with that. But that would be less and less because we'd like that to go right through the court administrators. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I have today, and I've answered everything about it. So I would like to thank you guys for all listening. And I have some guests I'd like to invite in. And first off, just give me a few minutes and I will bring her in. Hello, Beatrice. How are you today?
Yeah, very good. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was short and sweet. Not many questions.
Thank you so much for the training, because the training is extremely important for the new system.
It is, very much.
Practically, the new system has nothing new inside. It's everything from our creator, natural law, and labor rights, and sovereignty.
Exactly. I agree. So what's happening today, Beatrice? What's new? What's happening this week?
So this week on March 20, I'll try to be to the event and to tell to the people the truth about the political party. They do not vote any kind of the political party inside of the actual system. And why is the reason? Because the system at this time it's like a pyramid, and practically only few govern all of us. If you change all people with the other few, the system will never change. So in order to change the system, you need to bring a constitution written by the people, not by the politician.
I agree 100% on that one.
Then this constitution will finally give you everything that the creator practically give you. The sovereignty, and labor rights, and the natural law. Then by there, all of us will be the decision makers and will come to the vote for every important decision. So if we can remove the 1%, the top of the pyramid, this would be great, because there is the problem. So this kind of the system is the problem. And they didn't let me to speak for sure. They misinform the people that they have the solution, just another political party. And what happened there? They inserted also the police to remove me.
Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, so the police come and told me to be removed because I was not invited by others. So the right to speak, you do not need a special invitation. The people that they gather, the people under the protest, they do not own the people. The people have the right to listen everyone that they want to speak.
So did they turn off your mics and stuff?
Yeah, and they turn also off my microphone. That is my personal system. And
Wow.
I turn on and they turn off again. I turn on that they turn off again.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to be shut down. So, yeah.
I guess they didn't like what you had to say. I guess that's it. They get threatened by you?
Yeah, so yes, for sure. I would be probably under their natural law, man-made law courts for doing nothing wrong. So, yeah, do you know that on this system you have, if someone found you guilty, even that you are innocent, you cannot prove you are innocent, or it's very hard to be proven.
Yeah. Well, you didn't do anything wrong to them. That's for sure.
No, for sure. So anyway, they cannot silence me. I'm extremely serious on that, and we have also a summit on March 27, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and by there we have to speak about our authority, that we are sovereign above the constitution and the government, and we'll speak also why it's not good to vote not at all on this system. And it's also about the political party. So everyone, when the new system will be set up, everyone will have a good place on the new system, and all of us will be rich. So this is not a problem. Just eliminate this new system, because under the natural law that respects two concepts, truth and moral. Moral means living in practically in accordance with the natural law.
Yeah.
So at this time, if you vote again a politician and you are keeping still up the oligarchy system, that it's practically against all of us at this time, you are not you are not moral.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
not law.
Yes, that's very true. Very true.
So we need to understand that.
Yes, and that would be good for everybody to hear that. Yes. Because a lot of sovereigns out there, they don't understand that.
No,
they don't. No, and I've noticed that they just don't understand it at all. Did you see that new video that Janie sent out?
No, I do not know, but I have another one. I do not know. I have another one. Will be seen also on the summit. So I invite everyone to see what I saw, and the name of the video it's what is that? Because
yes, I think I saw that one. Very interesting.
So it will be probably for some a surprise. It was also for me. So the information that it's inside of this 1 minute video doesn't come from me. I received this information, and when I saw that, my question was, what is that?
Yes. And actually, I was surprised to see it in public like that. That was quite surprising. Yeah. So we have the summit on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the Information Hub room. Please join us. I guess we can they'll have it. I sent it out to everybody. They'll have the link to get in. You can get in through Constitutional Conventions. All right. And just click on the Zoom in Ontario room and you'll be there, right? Also, I'd like to tell everybody about on Sunday, we have our interim administration meeting again, very important. I need lots of volunteers. I have sent out many, many invites, so please come. It's at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, Alberta time. All right. And I look forward to seeing you all there. And Beatrice, do you want to watch a video with me before we leave?
Yes, for sure. Just I want to tell you that you need to be there. It's not only one invitation.
Oh, okay. I will be there.
Yeah, and to present the articles because you are keeping the training for all the provinces, and we need you there.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes. I understand
And
that.
all the articles to make like a summary, like an overview of the articles.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I have this video you can watch.
If nobody paid attention to the lying mainstream media, how many people would even be aware that anything different has occurred in society? It's a bullshit story from the mainstream media, and it always has been from day one, to make people afraid so more freedoms can be taken away.
When Bush was president.
You just don't hear about it in the mainstream media because they're paid liars. And if their masters don't tell them to cover something, it's forbidden and it doesn't get talked about. The most dangerous habits in the world today, they're ideological habits, unexamined ways of thinking about reality. This is exactly the case. People have uninformed opinions and aren't concerned with determining truth through the truth discovery methodology known as the trivium, which is the true scientific methodology and the true liberal arts education methodology. Most people don't give a damn about that. They don't know how it works, and they certainly aren't employing it. They certainly aren't using it to discover true facts. They have a completely unexamined way of thinking about reality, and that way of thinking about reality is given to them by social engineers and their paid lying pets called the mainstream media. So that's the truth about what's going on in the world. The most dangerous habits going on in this society is uninformed ways of thinking, and this is what it is all about distraction from, ladies and gentlemen. And ultimately, it's about distraction from the understanding of natural law, the understanding of the dark occult, and how it rules society through mind control. These people are proud of what they're involved in. They're laughing about it. And you'll see what's going to happen. It's already started happening. So these people know what they're doing. They know how to cover it up. They have the media at their disposal, financial institutions at their disposal, and they own the police and military. That's how the cult rolls, and you ain't in the big cult. And all the people who think just because you're being given the marching orders of the big cult, you're not insulated from them. See, so many people out there have an incomplete picture. They don't know how it all fits together, folks. Don't stop with a halfway picture of understanding of our current world and our current human condition. It's very orchestrated, very organized abduction for the purpose of high-level rituals at highest levels of government, highest levels of institutions of power throughout the world. And a lot of people who you think are on the good team might be in that cult and on the bad side. We have to put the truth and principles first in our lives. So we have to care enough to go deeply into information and knowledge and learn what's true. Then the order is truth, love, freedom. We know the truth, so we care enough to act the right way and create a society that is based in freedom. So you could really say it's care, truth, love, freedom. You know, love would just be the agape form of love, is love for truth and love for all. You know, it's cosmic love. It's not even brotherly love. It goes beyond that. It's love for the truth that comes first. Then it's truth, care for our whole human situation, and then creating freedom through our actions, through our behaviors, which is what wisdom truly is. So it would be like care, truth, understanding. That's the love part, coming to an understanding of what it means for all, and then wisdom is right action. So it's the trivium that has to be underlaid by cosmic care, by capital C care or all or all capital letter care. That's the thing that holds the whole seed of life together. What you can do to sentient beings. All rights are behaviors that you as a sentient being that is capable of understanding this difference between right behavior and wrong behavior. You do not apply natural law to the animal kingdom because they are beings that do not have a developed enough brain to ponder, conceptualize, and perceive natural law, meaning the moral laws of creation and what objective morality actually is. Therefore, animals who will go along with instinctive stimulus response mechanisms and lower order instincts are not bound and held to the same moral law consequence of higher order, higher thinking, and higher brain function beings such as human beings who have the capacity for the understanding of objective morality. That's called true holistic intelligence, which is made possible by our higher order functioning brain, specifically the part of the brain known as the human complex or human neocortex of our brain. So that's why I tell people, understand the moral principle. Don't put out falseness into the world or deception into the world. It's that simple. Because, yes, while you could say objective absolute truth still exists in nature and that can never be destroyed, again, I actually use that term myself, truth can never be destroyed, right? But you can dissuade someone from looking into it, or you can stop someone from looking into it because they've believed what you've told to them that is not true, that is a lie. The reason that the controllers only engage in speech, many of them will simply engage in telling people a worldview and then saying, you go out and do this behavior. Lying is still an action. You have to modulate your vocal cords and move your lips to produce the mouth noises to do it. So is it a behavior? It is still a behavior. It is not a subjective construct. You are doing that with your vocal cords, with your lungs, with your air capacity, muscles surrounding your lungs and diaphragm, and you are doing that with your lips and tongue. You are taking an action when you speak. All they do is put out a worldview for other people to latch onto, and that is how they attempt to insulate themselves as much as possible from karmic debt, from accruing karmic debt. It does not mean that they will not, because it's still a behavior. Well, how could you lie about something truly important and bring about something good instead of something bad? The whole idea of truth discovery is getting to that which is correct, because that which is correct is synonymous with that which is moral. Anything that is false and wrong is going to lead to behavior which is also false and morally wrong. You cannot separate correctness from true morality either. That which is correct will lead you to that which is true. So lying will always eventually lead you to that which is false, and therefore eventually will lead you down the path of immorality and moral wrongful behavior, and immoral wrongful behavior. The universe hates cowardice, and I just like to challenge even the viewing audience, at the risk of even insulting anyone, folks, get as offended as you like. How many of you have courageously put the word out there publicly with your real name on it? I'd suggest less than 1%, and it's not good enough. We should be doing way better and way more at this time period, and not leaving it to so-called experts. Don't even leave it to me. I should be drowned out in a sea of chorus of voices teaching natural law by this point, okay? When I'm one of the handful doing it, and I mean a handful at best. Turn off the lying, fear-mongering, state-controlled media. It is an affront to self-respect. Stop believing that others have the right to command you. There is no such right. There is so much moral right. The people who are stepping up, the people who are saying, no, we're not going to have this, we're going to go back to our lives. We're not going to take government mandates. We're not going to take government commands, because you don't have the right to command us. We are free, and we're going to act like it. Stepping into that kind of courage creates the universe's protection. I'm protected because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of what can be done to me in the physical domain. And you know what real protection is going to come in the form of? Stepping into the courage to teach natural law. You want to talk about an even much higher level of protection. If you exercise courage for the right things, and you teach the right things, and you teach natural law, mighty forces of creation will come to your assistance and aid in your life, in all your endeavors. And that is where my protection comes from. So we have to say the lost word, which is no, and we need to fall in love with it. This is the lost word. We have to say no to authoritarianism. We have to say no to worldview violence. We have to say no to external control. No one has the right to externally control, rule, or command us. And we need to fall in love with that word. That is a vibratory energy of courage and protection, the word no. No, you don't own me. No, you don't have the right to command me and others. No one does. Through the knowledge of natural law, a truly awakened human being is finally able to speak the lost word, which is no. No is the word of all power. And only when we say no to those who would claim to be our owners do we stop externalizing our power, and in doing so reclaim all of our natural rights. And when you look at the word no, ladies and gentlemen, you realize it's just another form of the word on. It's just on flipped upside down. Because when we say the lost word no to those who consider themselves our authority, we are truly embracing and turning on the light inside each and every one of us.
Amen to that. Wow. I love that. That is exactly everything that I feel. You know what I mean? Everything. Oh, I'll unmute you. I'm sorry. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. I love that video. It was just, it said everything that my heart wants to say and have everybody understand. It was just wonderful. Just wonderful. Well, I have another guest coming in here. So just a sec. Hello, Scott. Did you see that video?
I just got on, so no, I didn't.
Oh, it's awesome. So how are you tonight? Or today?
Okay.
Okay. Had a good day?
A little rattled, but I'm okay.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, just, just the reality of what's coming before us. You have your good days and bad days and positive days, and that's all.
You need to watch that video that I just showed. Right, Beatrice?
Yes. Is this a video that Beatrice did?
No. This is one that I was sent to me from Janie. And she said, you got to watch this. And I did. Okay. And I wanted to bring it on tonight. I said, this is exactly what I've been trying to get across to everybody, what natural law is all about. And I loved it. I loved it. It's one of the best teaching tools I have seen yet. So
I'll definitely have to go check that out.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So what else is new with you? What's happening this weekend?
Not sure about this weekend. Heard some wild tales that we should kind of stay low this weekend. The 27th.
Stay home.
Yeah. So
I won't say much on here, but yeah, I would suggest stay home this weekend, spend some time in the house, get some good bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I get all my water at a spring, so.
Yeah. Well, we have a summit to go to on 1 o'clock on Saturday, right? So that's indoors, and we got the interim on Sunday at 3, so we can stay put and enjoy our time.
Be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, go ahead.
I was out today. I did a little bit more stocking up and prepping, more seeds, and different variety of seeds.
Wow, this is amazing.
And I bought a dehydrator.
Wow.
So I know one of my other prepper friends is he's doing a lot of dehydrating. So it sounds like a good idea. So
yeah, in the Alberta room, that's what they all got into about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
all of them, dehydrating food.
Yep. Well, can't hurt.
You can make jerky out of it too, you know.
Yeah. I got to learn. I got to do some research, most definitely. But you know, it's just another tool that we have that can hopefully maybe provide us some food if need be. So
I watched a video today, a young man who invented electricity from natural energy, the Earth's energy.
wow.
No gas, no solar panels, no. He's from Zimbabwe.
Wow.
And I watched the video before I came on live, and wow, the government already has pressured him, has jailed him. They want him to sell it to them. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's been lots of manipulation there, but he's refusing. And they asked him, these experts came from the States to see if this was for real. They said, we always hear about this, but it's never real, right? But they did testing on it and everything. They were testing the EMPs, if anything was coming off of it or anything. And nothing. He said, how is this running? You have no fumes, you have no fuel, how is this running? And he said, on natural Earth's energy.
Wow.
And they go, how many homes would this? And he said, well, this would probably, one of these units would give a town the size you're in here, he said. I don't know how big a town it was, but would give them all enough energy for each of their homes.
Well, I know that technology is out there, and it's been out there for a very long time. I believe Nikola Tesla it had all those inventions and patents, etc., and that's why he was exterminated, and they stole all them. 100%, I do believe that. The amount of technology that we've been suppressed from, more so by the big oil companies, because they want us all spending our money. Free energy, it's out there. I truly believe that. I seen a video a few days ago where they were using 3 spark plugs and a little bit of wiring, and they actually lit up a LED bulb just with the spark plugs and some wiring. So that's kind of interesting as well. Yeah.
Well, with the 33% increase in all of our taxation come April 1st, it's going to be. I would welcome the Zimbabwe man. No problem at all. Come build.
Well, he needs to be a very careful person, because there's been a lot of people that have disappeared and suicided themselves, supposedly, when they come out with any type of free energy. So
he hasn't given the plans to anybody. They don't know how he's doing it and how it's built. So they can't really kill him until they get the plan out of his head. Yeah. So he's being very careful that way. And he builds it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he says he built it himself, and it's all private. He only has 2 units built so far. But they look like, you know how you would go to an energy place and you see like a great big box the size of a small container, like a sea container, that kind of, that's what it looks like. A little bit smaller than that, but like that. But it's all encased in kind of a blue glass looking. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I know years ago, I believe it was California, the Google headquarters or whatever, they were using some of these independent stations that were producing all their power, but that kind of went to the wayside. It kind of I never heard anything more about it, but it was supposed to be something like this free energy. And no, it definitely didn't get out to we the people, for sure. Anyways, continue on. what was this? How was the discussion today? Good.
So very, very interesting question and answer all the time about the training, and also an excellent video about the natural law that probably will be seen this night on the Ontario Zoom room after the Ontario meeting at 8 p.m. because they have one very important. So this is all about the presentation of the summit. So you are also very, very invited to speak there. As you know more about, especially March 20, that we experience also in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And so I truly believe that this would be great. Yes, Elizabeth disappeared probably because of the internet issue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we have no internet free, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wow.
we still experience 5G.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like.
Oh well, yeah. That Saturday was definitely a learning experience. I think, you know, each weekend that we go down, we learn something new, but I believe we're making ground, Beatrice, and I heard a lot of positive feedback from what we did get to accomplish. Not as much as we hopefully wanted to, but each week we'll get better and better. Other than this week, I don't think you're back. I'm surprised we got to stay while you were kicked out.
Yeah. That in StreamYard, when anybody gets kicked out and their internet goes down, the other people just continue in with the meeting. They don't kick everybody out. Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was trying to tell you guys, keep talking. I'll come back when I can.
We are all the time talking. 12 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, you're still live anyways. You're still being recorded anyways, so no big deal, right?
Yeah. Looks like it's perfect. Yeah.
So is there anything else you guys would like to say, Beatrice, or anything?
So
I would let Beatrice go first.
Okay.
Go ahead, my sister.
Yeah, so this is very important because right now we have the third summit. And I truly believe that the people do not need to have so many questions if they come, if they will see all the summits, and probably will come with another one or two. And by there, they will have like the information will be all concentrated on these summits. So they can see the summits, then they can enter to communicate with us through the Facebook, through the Zoom room, doesn't matter. So they will find, we have also Telegram account, we have Instagram, so it doesn't matter from where. They can insert their question. But I truly believe that their question will be not so many if they will hear all the time your StreamYard with the interim question and answer, if they will come to your training, Elizabeth, and if they will see also the summit. So I truly believe that the number of the question will start to decrease. And the understanding will start to increase.
Yes, thank you, Beatrice. Yes, that is for sure. That is very for
sure. I would just like to say or add, you know, there's many great, call them patriots. Some people have a negative idea of what a patriot is. To me, it's a man or a woman who is standing up to ensure that we have a bright future for our children and future generations, and wants to protect what they have. And the only way we are going to do this is by uniting, but more so first is to get out of our comfort zones and away from our mainstream media TV. And we have to step up to our responsibility. And I would like to thank you both, because I know that you both go 18 hours a day nonstop on trying to bring a solution. We all hear of all the challenges, and we bring up all the challenges that we could discuss. And yes, that will bring people to the table. Some things bring each of us to the table for different challenges that we have or see as challenges. But it's not going to change unless we stand up. And I tried to say this in Toronto, that it is our responsibility. And I also mentioned that our forefathers and mothers were asleep at the wheel. They were. They kind of, they were is doing their best to keep food on the table and to create a great future for our generation. All the while, like, you know, we were losing more and more of our freedoms, and it's not more relevant as it is right now today. What's going on with this pandemic and everything else. So the only way that we are going to see brighter days is to get involved. And getting involved means you have to go out on the street, you have to get involved in the Zoom meetings, you have to get involved in the summits, you have to get involved in the interim training that Elizabeth is trying to do, because we have created a system, we have written the Constitution, and now the most challenging part is just getting it out to the masses of we the people. And when you read through the documents and you go through the website constitutionalconventions.ca, when you navigate your way through the videos and the documents and all the learning and etc., I guarantee you will come to a conclusion that yes, this is a solution to all the challenges that we have, because each and every challenge that we have leads back to one root of evil and or one root problem. And it's easily fixed. It's just uniting and joining your brothers and sisters, and we all stand up at the same time. And one of the most positive things that I've seen this past weekend on the 20th, and even previous weekends, is the amount and masses of we the people, our brothers and sisters, rising in other countries, other nations, to the very same reason we're rising up to. So yes, last Saturday, the 20th, was very positive in Toronto. It was the biggest crowd that we ever had. But then again, you know, we need to be marching for the solution. And I would like to see the masses out there supporting the solution and getting on board with the solution. And then we will finally see some relief to all the pain and suffering and the slavery that we have, the fraud, etc. And maybe we could start living our lives again like the way that our creator, or whomever your creator is, meant us to live, which is enjoying life a little bit more than being slaves 24/7. So with that said, I'll yield back and say thank you all.
Oh, thank you very much, Scott. Thank you very much for coming and sharing with us. And we'd like to thank everybody else that came and joined us today. And Beatrice, if you'd like to say something before you leave, goodbye or whatever.
Thank you so much. Everything was told today.
Oh, awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for joining us. Please join us on Saturday for the summit at 1 o'clock. And the interim administration meeting at 3 o'clock on Sunday, at Mountain Standard Time Sunday, and Eastern Standard Time Saturday. All right. So 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Saturday. Mountain Standard Time, 3 o'clock Sunday. We'll get it straight yet. Anyway, thank you very much.
I hate those times.
It's crazy. But thank you guys. Time. And have a good evening, everybody. All right. Robert forever. And imagine that.
Thank you both for your time. Thank you both for your time, sisters. I love you.
Thank you for everyone that is listening to us.
Thank you.